Hello everyone, my name is Margaret and my story may cause confusion or even surety for most of you. For the past 2 years, often I hear from people how frivolous I am. And yes, I am 65 and a couple of years ago I married a guy who's 41 years younger. At first, my life was no different from millions of others. I grew up in a good family, I was a curious child, and had a great interest in medicine. Playing at being a doctor was my favorite. I could hunt for our cat for hours just to measure his temperature or bandage his paw. Later, in a school camp, I received a message for the first time, and I really liked that. Since then, my cat got many different messages from me, and I became very serious about becoming a doctor. It may sound weird, but finally my dream came true. After 8 long years of studying in medical school, I became a real doctor. My work took all my time. I literally lived in a tiny office in the rural medical center where I was assigned after my graduation. It was hard, especially at first. I didn't even have my own practice, and patients came to see me every day. There were lots of them since our clinic was the only one for 3 villages. I really had no private life at all. So, at 30, I impulsively decided to marry a good man. It was not about love. I just thought that I didn't really have a choice. I needed some human warmth. He was really a good man, positive, diligent, and industrious. He was very talented. From a piece of ordinary wood, he could carve a work of art. People ordered his furniture even from the capital city, so we never had a lack of money. People thought that we were a perfect married couple. We soon had a son who became the center of my whole world. As time passed, I became more and more estranged from my husband and spent more and more of my time with my child. Finally, I made a decision to divorce him. No, we hadn't argued. I just didn't want to stay in that place in the middle of nowhere. My child needed a kindergarten, then a good elementary school, and not the countryside one with a much lower level of teaching. So I decided to move to the capital. Though I lived without a man's warmth, I still had my beloved baby. I still had a good job with modern equipment and medicine, especially compared to the country hospital. The lack of true love didn't bother me very much. I had relationships from time to time, but there was no real spark. None of the 4 men that I tried to have a relationship with started the fire of love within me. Most of them just wanted to be the most important thing and dominate my life. But they couldn't be. That was reserved for my son. That's the reason they all left sooner or later. My youth have come and gone, and suddenly I have reached retirement age. We doctors could take retirement earlier than other government workers, but I worked until I was 55. Finally, I started doing what I didn't have time and strength for earlier in my life. I started massage. It is called chiropractic today. One day I was visited by a young man. John was a retired sportsman because of an injury. He was so young, only 19 years old, even younger than my son. But I had goosebumps every time he came to me for a massage. I called myself an old-aged fool and didn't say a word about my feelings for him. One day after his massage was over, he came right to my house with a bunch of flowers to thank me for my help with his injury. I laughed, of course, but my legs shook like a schoolgirl's. He continued to visit me, giving me presents and taking care of me. Maybe it was wrong, immature, oh come on, an old woman deciding to ruin a young man's life. But after 3 years of his visits to me, I realized that it wasn't a game, but it was true love. Now we are like 2 halves of a whole. Even my son has said to me that he thought that I had a right to be happy and blessed our relationship. That was the decisive moment. And at my age of 63, I married for the 2nd time, this time to 22 years old man. We have been together now for 2 years, and of course we have faced a lot of negativity. The most popular question I'm asked is this your son? But you know what? John reminds me why I want to wake up each morning. We have our own traditions. I usually wake up earlier and make his favorite pancakes. We go out of town a lot and like to attend dances. The age difference, of course, doesn't go away. But as I continue to live with him, I feel younger each day. I would never change partners for anyone else. I guess my story will help lots of people understand that love doesn't count age. If that's your person, age doesn't matter at all. Love each other and don't be ashamed of it.
Would you like to see more episodes? Support us by hitting like and subscribe. If you want to see your story in one of our videos, send it to this email address.